Yes, this is amazing. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, as I say each and every week. Y'all already know. And before I take it back, y'all know I'm going to add more to it. And I know you heard me the first time. Super duper grateful because we have the activities of our limbs. Y'all already know. I say it each and every week. Each and every week. Each and every week. So, guys, it's your girl, Jaja, and you are tuning in, listening to Yeah, I Said It. You are tuning in, okay? Tune in one time for the one time. What up, though, guys? It is your girl, Jaja, and you are listening to Thankful Thursdays. You're listening to Yeah, I Said It, because y'all already know before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. And I know you heard me the first time. Of course, I am live on my Facebook and Instagram as I am each and every Thursday for the lunch special for you guys. If you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, and before I take it back, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add more to it. Listen, I am your host, Jaja C. Hubbard. You can follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube channel. You know Jaja because you do. Listen, if you are tuning in, if you woke up with breath in your body, as I say each and every Thursday, we woke up with the activities of our limbs. We ain't in nobody's hospital and we ain't in nobody's jail. And I'm telling you, they got room for you in jail. They got room. They're going to make room for you at the hospital because they want to give you that bill. And I'm going to tell you something right now. If you got the activities of your limbs, I don't care what's going on in your world. God is still good. But listen, if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It. And I know you're probably like, oh my goodness, Shasha, you all made up and everything and whatnot. Well, because after I do, Yeah, I Said It, I got to go film for Uncommon Conversations. Because, you know, the girl is trying to be booked, blessed, and busy. Okay. All right. Because this is what I pray for. And if you're tuning in, I want to talk to you about you are not alone. You are not alone. And I know that in this season, this year, there have been situations that have caused us to feel alone. It has caused us to feel isolated, not because we wanted to feel isolated or we wanted to, but it's because of the restrictions and the different things that have taken place within our society. But before there was a COVID-19 and before there was a pandemic, there were still people committing suicide at an alarming rate, having income, a very low income to try to provide for their families. People were trying to struggle to make ends meet. And then there were some people that were living their lives like it was golden, as if there was never going to be ever an issue or a problem with our world. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, you already know. And before I take it back, I'm adding more to it. I'm talking about You Are Not Alone. And it's more than just a Michael Jackson song, okay? The thing about it is that certain situations and circumstances can make you feel as if you are the only person dealing with certain things. And I know that, one of my favorite holiday movies is Home Alone, the originals. Okay. I ain't talking about these little bootleg copies and these little other copies movies that they have. But I grew up and I watched this movie, Home Alone, with Macaulay Culkin, and the Home Alone, the very first one. And then, of course, Home Alone 2 and all the other ones that came about. But one of the things that I loved about this movie is that here it is, a family celebrating a holiday together, but yet a person is still feeling alone. Have you ever been in a situation where you could be in a room full of people and still feel small? Or you could be amongst a bunch of people and you kind of feel a little reserved because you don't feel like you as beefy as these other people are, or your brand isn't as big as somebody else's. Even when you all see the success that I am having, just know that there are tears I had to cry. There was heartache. There were suicidal thoughts. There was, I'm just about to go get a real job. There was, I did go and get a job to make up for my dream, to pay for my vision. And the thing about it is that sometimes in life, you're going to feel like, am I the only person to care about this stuff? Like, am I the only person to care about climate change? Am I the only person to care about the political endeavors of the future? Am I the only person to care about these kids? Am I the only person to care about helping homeowners get their homes? Am I the only person to care about being stable, not just chasing the bag, but being stable? And I think sometimes in our efforts to be these people that we envision in our mind, we oftentimes feel alone when we're building that brand. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm super duper grateful for every person that took the time out to order my book, a hoodie, a shirt, to share my videos, regardless if you like me or you don't, because the views don't lie. The numbers don't lie, baby. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm talking all about You Are Not Alone, because I remember this movie so vividly, and it was such a bestseller in the theaters because it depicted a young boy in a household full of people and still feeling alone, still feeling invisible, still feeling like you don't exist and nobody cares for you. And during this holiday season, I know very well about grief, depression, anxiety, losing a loved one, having a loved one that is stricken with health challenges. I watched my mother die, literally with my eyeballs. I saw her take her last few breaths. And for anybody who has ever experienced a death like that, where you see somebody alive and then you turn around and they no longer there, you like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. You know, so it plays a toll in our mental, in our psyche. And unfortunately and fortunately, women are a lot more expressive with things that they have seen in their lives and some of the trauma that they've experienced. And a lot of our men, a lot of our Black men have seen some trauma in prison, in their hood, in their family, dealing with the women, dealing with the men in their life, dealing with church folks, because a lot of people have had some church hurts, been molested by religious leaders. Yeah, I said it before I take it back. I'm ammo too, because we trying to help people, okay? And a lot of times the people that look like you and me, we say things like, don't tell nobody our business. What go on in this house, stay in this house. You know, I grew up where my mom would say stuff like that, you know, after my dad would fight my mother, and we would have to go next door to my neighbor's house until they finished with whatever they had going on. And we were supposed to come back in the house and act like you ain't got a busted lip and he ain't got scratches. See, the trauma that we continue to have in our communities is because nobody is bold enough and expressive enough to say, I am hurt, or you hurt me, or I feel some type of way. You know, we ignore the signs. My son, I get on his nerves all the time. And yeah, I don't care, because as a young man, I need him to understand you can't hold all of these things in and then you snap. Because I've had moments in my life where I snapped, where I took so much in. You know how we do, y'all. We deal with this one thing, and after we done got over this one thing, we dealing with another thing, and then here come another thing, and then you like, okay, did I do something wrong? Is God not feeling me? Is this my karma? You know, you start thinking, okay, you start feeling alone in certain situations. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm gonna add more to it. We're talking about You Are Not Alone. Now, in this movie, it depicts a family celebrating a holiday, and this young man got left, okay? It got to a point where they had went on to a trip, got in the airport, got on the plane, got into a whole nother area, and did not have their child. Now, with this movie, Home Alone, a few things came to mind. As mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers and uncles and aunties, we need to do a lot more paying attention than what we do. We could tell you about every character in a sitcom, TV series, or whatever the case may be, but you can't tell me how your auntie or cousin or such and such is doing. And the reason why I say this is because, of course, we are in the middle of a pandemic. We are ending our 2020. And unfortunately, we're going to go into 2021 with this virus. We're going to go into this new year with people dying. And if we're not careful, we will ignore and be so wrapped up in what we got going on that we're not paying attention to our surrounding areas. It's like a woman when she gets robbed, or a man that gets robbed, and she all in her phone or got her head down, or she talking to such and such, and then somebody then slid up on her and say, hey, give me all you got. It's because we got to get to a point where we are paying attention. The Bible talks about watch as well as pray. You got to do two things. So while you're praying, you got to keep one eye open just in case somebody try to run up on you. Because at the end of the day, this is a holiday season. People money is funny and they change is back strange. Okay. And so because people's money is funny and people's money is getting back, they change is getting back strange, people will start doing what they know to do best. Whether it's carjack, because the Jack Boys is back. Whether it's scamming boys is back, scamming girls is back. Road trips, all of that. All of those things are now being watched on a level beyond what we can see. And not only that, but when you are feeling like you are alone, your thoughts are activated in a negative realm, because now you start thinking about your past relationships, your future relationships. You'll never have kids. You'll never get married. Your business won't do this. They may fire me on the job. You start developing these negative thought processes. And one thing that I had to learn when it comes to this life that we want to live, the success that we want to have, whether it be on your own merit or working for a corporate company or government or whatever the case may be, we all want to live a life that is great, where people show their support and show their love. And it's a beautiful thing when you can get that kind of support and that kind of love without asking. That is a beautiful thing. So if you have somebody in your life or people in your life that help you and do things for you without you even having to ask, they are very important people. Those are the VIPs in your life. And I think sometimes we put other people on a pedestal opposed to the people that are diligent and there for you on a regular basis. And if you don't have somebody that's there for you on a regular basis, learn to be there for somebody else. So that way, when the time does come, God will put people in your life that will bless you. I know that the season that I'm in right now is not busy work. It's kingdom work. It's kingdom building. And sometimes there have been times where I was busy doing busy work. Not anything that was substantial, that held any substance and any weight, but it was busy because I was keeping myself busy and occupied as if I was doing something. But when I really decided, okay, I need to map out what I'm doing, I need to create these goals, and I need to implement steps in order for these things to happen. And one of the things that I saw and noticed that at Home Alone is that this young man had to implement some steps and some goals if he was going to survive. If you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. And I know you heard me the first time. Y'all already know what I'm going to do, because before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. We're talking about You Are Not Alone. And it's more than just a Michael Jackson song. Because when you're going through grief, losing a loved one, taking care of sick parents, single parenting, trying to make ends meet financially, or you're stepping into a new realm, whether it be motherhood, fatherhood, marriage, divorce. 2020 has been a combination of so many things on top of what we were already dealing with. So if you are already dealing with strife within your family, now it's strife and COVID. If you are having challenges with parenting already, now it's parenting, virtual learning, and COVID. So I'm saying all this to say sometimes we feel like we are alone in certain things. And sometimes we feel like nobody is paying attention to us, or nobody cares about us because nobody is giving us a word of encouragement, or nobody is speaking into our life at that very moment. But you have to learn sometimes. Donnie McClurkin said you're going to have to speak into your own life, speak into yourself. Okay, that's why it's called self-love, self-esteem. Sometimes we are looking for people to do things that we can do for ourselves. Case in point, I was going to hire me a makeup artist. That's not in my budget right now. I need a makeup artist and I need a stylist. But at the end of the day, right now, I got to think realistic. Do you want to do it because you want to say, oh, I have a hairstylist and I got a makeup artist? Or do you want to put that money into your production and do your makeup and your hair yourself? Boom. Yeah, I said it. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Because when you start looking at your scenarios and your situations, God will give you the strength to get whatever you need to get done. I know this because as a parent, oftentimes we can't wait for somebody to drop something in our lap for us to figure it out for our children. We got to go out here and get it how we live. And so with that being said, sometimes we have to pay attention to the power of the tongue and the things that we say and the things that we do. Because if we're spewing it out of our mouths, the Bible says that life and death is in the power of the tongue. Y'all know I'm not religious, ain't trying to be deep, ain't trying to be super spiritual. But when I started learning a lot of these laws, and I don't say like legal laws in terms of just laws for the state, but mental laws, spiritual laws, emotional laws, physical laws. There are laws that if you learn them, they will be applicable to your life. When I learned about that life and death is actually in the power of the tongue, then I learned to use my words differently. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't make mistakes and that I don't say things that I shouldn't be saying, because y'all say stuff y'all shouldn't be saying too. Okay? Judge your mama. Yeah, I said it. However, what that did teach me is that I have the power to change my scenario and my situation just based off the words I use. When I was a size 14, 16, and I said, man, I got to get this back fat off of my back. I refuse to allow this back fat to take over me. And when I made up in my mind that I wasn't going to allow the back fat to take over me, I had to implement some steps to put in place. Sometimes God will get you alone so that you can focus on you. Okay? Sometimes, ladies, he don't want you in a relationship because you got to heal from the last one. You won't be able to maintain this good man that he gonna send you because you still upset about the years you done put in this other relationship, and you carrying on those negative traits, the attitude onto this next relationship. And it's not just with platonic and romantic relationships. It's with business. It's with friendships. It's with church. It's with all of the things that's connected to you. It even deals with your children, because I've seen parents treat one child different than the other child because of the past experiences with the other parent. See, we have to get to the mindset that life and death is in the power of the tongue, and you can speak life into a situation or you can speak death into a situation. Your negative attitude, your negative personality, your pessimistic, your narcissist, you got a narcissistic attitude toward things, and it ain't gonna never work out for me. Don't nobody like me. Don't nobody care about me. Ain't nobody supporting me. I don't have enough followers. Ain't nobody following me. Listen, been there, done that. And what all that does is it brings you down, and it does not motivate you to the next phase in life. See, if you still need people to pump and prime you and push you, you're not there yet. You're not there yet. And I told my son, me and him had a conversation the other day. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to, I said it. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. My son is 17. He's a senior in high school. And like most seniors in high school, they think they know what they want to do. They think they know who they want to be. And in high school, I did. I knew who I wanted to be, where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do, and how I wanted to do it. Now, this is where things get tricky. Because although we may want to be a certain way, do a certain thing, become a certain this, what you don't know is what everybody else is going to do. That was the part that I did not take into consideration when it came to planning my life and looking at things as if they were golden. See, I didn't take into consideration, okay, yeah, I want to be somebody's wife, but I don't know what they gonna do. Yeah, I want to start a business, but I don't know what my customers are gonna do. Yeah, I want to do this, but I don't know what the job gonna do. See, when I learned, okay, life and death is in the power of the tongue. So now I need to change my verbiage, my wording, what I say, how I say it. And don't get me wrong, when I was talking to my son, my son who's 17, and he said, well, Ma, you know what you want to do. You're doing it. Yeah, I don't know, what I want to do. And I said, well, right now, this is the season where you find out the things that you love to do, the things that you are passionate about, the things that make you smile, tickle your fancy. You find the most peace over. You find to be the most things that are effortless, and you hone in on those things and you perfect them. But at 17 and 25, those are two different age groups. At 25, you shouldn't be out here taste testing on everything, trying to figure it out. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody gets what they are supposed to be and do at the same time. You may not get it at a young age. You may not get it at an old age or a middle age. But if you're pursuing it, God will reveal it. See, one of the things that I've learned in this life is that you have to learn to be a thermostat, not a thermometer. See, a thermometer takes a temperature, and they are a part of the tone that's already set. But when you are a thermometer, you get to control the temperature and the gauge and how things are going to be expressed in your life. If you want things to be cool in your life, you turn that thermostat to cool. If you're trying to kick it up a notch and bring the heat up and turn the heat up on these ninjas, then you turn that heat all the way up, because you are the thermostat in your life. You don't allow people to dictate how you feeling. And I had a problem with that because, sometimes my clap back can be real, and I'm working on it, y'all. God is really, I'm telling you, when you know you for real, like not for fake, not who you trying to be, not who you see in your mind, but who you are for real. Like right now, who you are, what you dealing with, you as a person. When you learn you and what bothers you and what don't bother you, you learn to operate a little differently. See, I didn't realize how much stuff I was harboring, because when you're dealing with certain situations in life and you feel alone, you don't want to really express certain things to certain people, because I got into a situation where I didn't really know who to trust. I'm like, oh, you family? Nope. Curve. Oh, you friends? Oh, nope. You're not a friend. You a foe. Curve. Oh, nope. I thought you was true, but nope, you're not. You false. So you end up learning the behaviors of other people. And so when you start to learn the behaviors of other people, you start to learn and move accordingly. The Bible talks about mark those that are labor among you. Those people that are among you, that work with you, that work for you, that's working with you, that's dating you, that's married to you. You mark the people based off of what they do, not what they say. My feelings got hurt, and I felt alone in a lot of certain situations because I was so caught up in what a person said. They said they loved me, and I believed it. They said they was going to support me. And when they didn't, my feelings was hurt. I felt some type of way. I'm like, when they turned, a friend turned into a foe, it was like, dang, but I've been a friend to you. So what's this all about? You feel alone when you're dealing with these certain circumstances. But one of the things that I am totally 100%, I'll go to my grave saying this: you do not lose real friends. You don't lose true love. You don't lose God-given opportunities, even if you were to miss them because of certain circumstances. There were things that I missed out on opportunities because I was a single mother. And because I was a mother, I would have to try to find me a babysitter. I need somebody to watch this young man. Okay. I need somebody to watch him, and I got to go do this. So who got my back? And it was a blessing when somebody sees what you're building or sees what your goals are, and they say, hey, I'll watch him. Come on, I'll babysit him. And the thing about it is that when you get to a place where you recognize that life and death is in the power of tongue, you also recognize the tongue that's on another person. You recognize, oh, that person, they are dead inside. Have you ever seen a person or met a person? You be like, man, they ain't got no light. They just dark. Like your whole vibe is just, and there's a lot of people that know how to pretend to have a vibe. Okay. I am here to tell you, I've been around a lot of people who know how to pretend very well. But see, when you ask God for the spirit of discernment, the spirit of discernment will allow you to see the wolf in sheep's clothing, because there are people that talk that good vibe, and they talk all of that, and they talk that women empowerment, and let's help the ladies, and let's build them up. But they out here sleeping with somebody else's man. What kind of woman empowerment is that? What kind of sisterhood? Wait a minute. This is not. I don't want this kind of sisterhood, if that's what this is. I don't want this kind of women's empowerment, because I remember somebody saying this on their social media page, and they say, people do know you in real life. And this is one of the things that I'm so grateful of, that I'm straight up, no chaser, straight from the hip. And you ain't got a heaven or hell to put me in. So I'm okay with being myself. I take pride in that, knowing that I could be myself. There are some people that are going to have a problem with who you're becoming because they don't know who they are. There are going to be people that are not going to agree with some of your decisions because they aren't good with making decisions for their future. There are going to be people that want to ride along your coattail because they're not sure about what it is that they're doing. I don't mind young people riding my coattail or working with me or asking me questions because they're young. They're sponges. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to make the best decision. But when you are 30, 40, 50, 60, still acting like you just living like you just got one life to live, you just living your life like it's golden, what that lets me know is that you're not responsible. You're not responsible for your own life, so you can't be responsible for mine. You don't care about your own heart and soul and spirit, so I can't anticipate and expect you to care about mine. And I also had to learn to pay attention to how people have done other people or how they've worked with other people in the past. If you know somebody that don't have good friendships with other good people, 9 times out of 10, they probably not a good friend. That's probably why they don't have good relationships or good friendships. I had to learn about why certain things were happening, because I had to learn that, am I putting life into this situation, or am I putting death into this situation? And, people like Michael Jackson and Robin Williams, who were lights for people, they gave you good comedy and good dancing and good music, but yet felt alone. There are people out here. That's why you got to pray for leaders and pastors and our mayors and people that are in leadership and people that govern groups of people, coaches and teachers. I pray for my son's teachers. I pray for my son's principals, the administration, because he's going to have to deal with these people. And there are spirits on these people. That's why when I go to certain stores and I go shopping, I have to learn to be patient, because you don't know what a person is dealing with. I remember being a manager at Myers, and I never forget, I'm going to tell the story as long as I live. When I was a manager for this company, and this retail company, and this is the holiday season. And I'm saying all this to say you are not alone. If you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Listen, when I worked as a manager, one of the leading roles as a person in leadership is to make sure that your people are good, your staff is good, as well as the people that you are providing the service for. See, some of you want the business, but you don't want to know the service part. When you are in a people's business, who did I say? People. If you got to deal with people, okay? If you got to deal with people and you don't like people, then you need to get out of the people's business, okay? Don't nobody got time for your stank, nasty attitude because you don't want to deal with the people. You need to get out of the people's business. Get out of a people's industry. Because if you don't like talking to people, you don't like fixing problems, you don't like rectifying problematic situations or providing solutions, get out of serving and service people. So, as a manager for this particular company, Myers, I had a young lady who spazzed out on my customers over Pop-Tarts, because the woman wanted the dollar Pop-Tarts. And I told management You cannot keep putting these deals on these aisles because people don't read. They're going to see 5 for $5. They're not going to see the fine print that says on these selected items. They're going to pick up, I want this one, I want this one, I want this one. So when the young lady spazzed out on my customer, I saw two things that were happening there. There was a customer service issue, and then there was an employee issue. Sometimes when you know that life and death is in the power of the tongue, you learn to deal with situations a little differently. When you know that somebody is dealing with has a rough time, or whether or not you know or not, you learn to deal with people a lot carefully. See, some of us are very insensitive to other people because people have handled us carelessly. And if I really tell y'all the truth about it, I could literally be a huge bitch, huge female dog if I wanted to, based on how people treated me. See, some people have this attitude where I only care about myself. I'm only going to do myself because other people mistreated them. And so they don't want to let their hearts out or allow people to hurt them again. So they put this guard up. And that was one of the things that I saw with this customer and my employee. My customer, because all they wanted was what they came there for. They saw a deal, they saw an opportunity, and they came here. They ain't come for all of the extra stuff. That's just like you sign up for a relationship. I ain't signed up to be arguing with you every day, girl. I ain't signed up to be getting cheated on with you, man. When I signed up for this, I thought it was going to be something worth having. So I'm sure that when the young lady came into the grocery store, she didn't anticipate that I was going to be arguing with an employee over some Pop-Tarts. And I'm sure that when the employee woke up that day, they didn't anticipate that I could potentially get fired today. I could potentially lose my job. It's like so many of you go into an opportunity or a situation and you like, this ain't what I signed up for. What is this? So we have to be careful with how we deal with each other, because you don't know what a person is dealing with. Now, in order for me to rectify this situation as a leader, as a manager, because I was a manager, and as a leader, you are a manager and a leader of your household. Even if it's just you, you are still the leader and the manager of your household. You got to make sure the bills is paid, the lights is on, the gas is on, the food in the refrigerator. You in good health. You getting love right. You getting income coming in. You getting your soul right, your spirit right, your mind right. You are your manager of your life, and you are the manager and the leader of your family. So in order for me to have to rectify that situation, if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm talking all about you are not alone. At that moment, that young lady was dealing with some things. She was dealing with some challenges. And a lot of us are like this young lady. We go to work and we operate as if we're okay. We go to school and we operate as if we're okay. I know so many functioning alcoholics, so many functioning cokeheads, crackheads, weed heads. I know so many people that will smoke a cigarette down to its bud, because we are not addressing what we're dealing with. And we can't anticipate that a substance is going to rectify whatever we got going on inside of us. I know, I've been there. I had to go to rehab for 33 days in order for me to get that. Because there comes to a point in your life where you start to go where you know. You know, my mom would drink her wine, so now wine became my drug of choice. And when wine didn't work, then it was weed. And when weed didn't work, then it was NyQuil. When NyQuil no longer did it, then it was Benadryl. When Benadryl no longer did it, then it was the Tylenol PMs. When Tylenol PMs couldn't take it no more, then all I had to do, then it was the point where, okay, I have got to get me together in order for me to be that effective person that I anticipate and seeing for myself. And don't nobody know about what you're going through for real, but you and God. One of the things that I found myself questioning God was, why is this happening? What am I supposed to be learning in this process? What am I getting out of this? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? And a lot of our hurt comes from not listening. A lot of our pain, turmoil, frustration. Now, there are some things that we couldn't change, our socioeconomic conditions. Some people were born into poverty. Some people were born into parents that were stable. Some people were born into situations where our parents were illiterate or they didn't have as much knowledge on certain things as we do now. And so we had to deal with what we had to deal with. Some of us grew up and our circumstances were a single parent household, or our fathers or mothers were in prison, or, we didn't have what we wanted to have, or we were obese growing up. So we got teased a lot. There were, you had raping and molestation. Either you were the molester or you were the molestee. You had to get a job at an early age because you had to be a lot more responsible to take care of your brothers and sisters while your parent had to work. There are a lot of different scenarios that people had to go through to make them who they are. And because they had to go through a lot of these different scenarios, it has formed how they think. And so one of the things that I had to detox my thought process and how I looked at parenting. I had to detox my mindset on how I felt about myself. Yeah, I had to go through the motion of, oh my God, I'm bald, or oh my God, I'm dealing with alopecia, or oh my God, I don't have lashes or eyebrows. But then I had to look at it as, oh, this is a great thing. I never have to wax again. I don't ever have to worry about any hair bumps or, anybody having to, get any hair anywhere or any of those things. I could do or become whoever I wanted to be in that mindset. So I had to rethink and reprocess my thought process, because when you are going through certain situations, you do feel alone. When you're trying to lose weight, you feel like, oh my God, I feel like I can't get over the hump. I remember when I was going through I had gained my marriage weight, and then I went and gained my divorce weight. And I was just like, sis, this ain't hidden, sis. Sis, you uncomfortable. And when you feel uncomfortable, it shows. That's one of the reasons why I do TV and radio. And I love TV and radio, not just because I want to look amazing, but because I want to prepare people. If you want to see yourself successful the way you see yourself, you are going to have to do media. Whether you work for a company, whether you work for the government, whether you work for yourself, you're going to run into an opportunity where you're going to have to speak on your own behalf. So it is best that you train yourself to get to that point. I knew that there is a place called success that I wanted to get to. In order for me to get to that place called success, I knew that there were going to be some things that I was going to have to change and become disciplined in doing so. See, one of the reasons why Michael Jackson is one of the greatest artists and celebrities and musicians and songwriters and singer of all times is because he disciplined himself enough to put focus and attention and time into what it was that he was building. Baby, you can't chase the bag and your boyfriend. You can't. You just can't. Fellas, you can't be a boss and you ain't taking care of your business. Don't work like that. At the end of the day, we have to learn that we have to put time into our craft and what we're building. Whether you're trying to get a management job, whether you're trying to move up in a company, whether you're trying to move up in your business, whether you're trying to lose weight, be a better parent, be a better spouse, be whatever it is that you're trying to be. You're going to have to be a lot more disciplined in order for that to happen. And don't get me wrong, life happens. I get it. I literally have a cousin in a hospital right now with double pneumonia in both her lungs. My son's uncle just passed away a few days ago. I had a breast cancer scare where I had a lump in my left breast, and I was ready to take these breasts and get some new ones, y'all. And if I do get some new ones, mind your business, okay? Yeah, I said it. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it because life happens. And you have to learn that it's not life happening to us. I had to stop being the victim. And, people have the tendency to be victimized or become victims in certain situations when they know they've played a role in it. That's why we have to be careful of how we deal with people, because you don't know how people will respond to certain things. I had a young lady do some real shady stuff to me, y'all. And I had to tell Joy Rose Jaja, I need you to go have several seats, go all the way to the back, lock the door, tie yourself in there, and do not come out until this election is over. Because if I would have responded the way that I felt like responding, then I would have turned a temporary issue into a permanent situation. So before I allow somebody to put me into a permanent situation, I'm going to move myself out the way. And that's where you got to know, sometimes God sometimes puts you alone so that you can focus on you. Sometimes relationships don't work out the way we want them to work out because God wants you to work on you. My husband that's coming, I wouldn't do him any justice being who I used to be when I was with the first joker, because of the mindset that I had during that time. In order for you to really value what God is presenting to you at the table, whether it be opportunities financially, spiritually, emotionally, physically, whether it be relationship building, when God presents that opportunity to you, he wants you to be ready for it. He wants you to be ready for it. Some of us, we want things that we are not prepared for. My mentor always says proper planning prevents poor performance. And if you don't want to perform at your poorest, you have to get to a place where you are looking for progress. I thank God I'm not who I was in January, nor am I who I am in December. Every day I'm looking to become better. And that should be your goal as well. No matter what your goal in life is, it should be to level up, to be better. Okay, you was over the meat department. Okay, you changed the meat department. Okay, now they done moved you over to produce. Kill produce just like you did meat. I had to learn and teach my employees, don't dismiss small beginnings. Because working for Wayne County, I was in a conference room in the back with 3 other people. Didn't have my own desk. Didn't have nothing. I had an opportunity and I had a space. And yeah, it was uncomfortable. And yeah, we had, complaints about it. But I also knew that this is not my end. And when you know it's not your end, you can deal and look at the situation differently. I went from being an entry clerk in a conference room with no desk, a big table, all the way to having my own office, all the way to having my own business based off of what I did at this office. So never think that what you're learning is small. Never think that, I don't need this training, or I don't need to go over this again. No, sometimes you got to go back over it. I graduated from Specs Howard in 2008, and I graduated to do TV and radio. But because it's 2020 and that was 2008, I got to look up on and read up on new programs and new things that I have to incorporate in my business. Never be that person where you think you've learned everything and you know everything and you're not teachable. Because as you can see, everybody that wasn't hit with technology, you're going to have to learn today. You going to have to learn today. Your job requires you to know technology today. Okay? In order for you to have a meeting, you're going to have to learn technology today. See, a lot of people were avoiding learning so different things. This is a season in our lives where God will push you, or you can go willingly. You can learn from your situations, or God will put you back in that same test. See, I had to learn that you're going to get tested about the same things until you learn the lesson. You're going to keep dealing with the same people that you claim that you don't want to deal with until you notice and pay attention, okay, this ain't going to work for me. At the end of the day, if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm talking about you are not alone. Because in this season, our mental health and our physical health is just as important. Our mental health is important because we have to make decisions based upon our physical being. If you know that we are in a pandemic and there's a deadly virus going around, you shouldn't be feeding your spirit and your body Taco Bell, KFC, and McDonald's every day. You cannot heal from a deadly virus or disease with the nutrients from McDonald's, Taco Bell, KFC, Checkers, Coney Island. That's not how that works. So in order for you to be mentally healthy and physically healthy in this season, you're going to have to feed your body something different. And I'm going to tell you something. Your body and your mind go hand in hand, but they are separate. Your mind can be wide awoke and your body can be dead. It's like a person that's a vegetable. Their mind works, but they no longer can function. Their body is no longer used to them. Or a person, I have a guest that's coming up on my talk show, Uncommon Conversations, and a bullet penetrated his spine and he can't use his body from the waist down. But I'm sure that he understands that what he puts in his body, even though he can't use his limbs, he knows that what I put in my body and in my spirit is going to help my mind. See, some of us think that you can heal from KFC, 2 pieces in a biscuit, boo. That ain't, you're going to have to eat an apple. You're going to have to eat a banana. And I ain't talking about just licking on one to do the banana challenge. I'm talking about you're going to have to eat a banana. You're going to have to put down the fried chicken, okay? And you're going to have to pick up some salad. I know you don't like water, but you're going to have to drink some water. And you're going to have to put down your Douce and your Hennessy, your Bacardi, or whatever yays you got. You're going to have to put that down in order for you to be this next person. See, one of the reasons why I can look the way that I look is because I take very, very, very take into consideration what I put in my body, what I put in my spirit, what I listen to, what I watch, what I have intake, how I deal with me. Because if I deal with me any kind of way, you can't really anticipate or expect somebody to deal with you. You know, it's like somebody that got yellow teeth trying to tell you how to smile on the picture. Sir, go handle them teeth. I need you to go handle your business. It's like somebody trying to tell you how to parent their kids and your kids, and their kids don't even like them. Go work on healing your family before you come over here trying to dictate what I got going on over here. See, some people are blind leading the blind. And some people don't want to listen to certain people. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. We're talking about you are not alone. Your mental health and your physical health is very important. And some people don't want to listen to certain people that have leadership or authority. But I know one thing's for sure, 2 things for certain. You're going to have to listen to somebody. You're going to have to listen to somebody. And the thing about it is that when you learn that you got to listen to somebody, your engagement with people will be different. Your engagement with people will be different, because I'm going to tell you something. Just because you don't like them and just because you don't agree with them, that don't mean that God ain't going to stop blessing you or blessing them. One of the things that I had to learn is just because you don't like a person or because a person don't like you, that don't mean that God going to stop blessing them. I got people that don't like me right now. Probably wish I wasn't here. Probably wish all kind of crazy stuff on my life. But at the end of the day, that's not going to stop God from blessing me, because God sees my heart, not what I say. He knows my heart. He knows what is in my mind. He knows the reasons behind why I do things. He knows what I don't say. He's heard conversations that other people were not privy to. So when God blesses me with these blessings, and when God blesses you with those blessings, listen, this is between me and God. This ain't got nothing to do with nobody. At this point in the season in my life, when you are dealing with loneliness or despair, or you feel like don't nobody care about you, or ain't nobody paying attention, ain't nobody, listen, 1 thing's for sure, 2 things for certain. People pay attention. You may not get the likes. You may not get the follows. You may not get the support that you are anticipating from certain people. You may have lost some loved ones in this season, and you may be getting ready to lose some more. But what you have to learn is to be grounded in who you are. Don't lose who you are. See, when my father died, and he committed suicide, it put me in a grind mode. It put me in, okay, you only get one life. Let me zero in on what I came here to do. When my mom died, it put me in a very dark place. I was angry. I was frustrated. I was spewing out things that because I was angry with God. I said, God, how dare you take my mother? Like, what's up, ninja? Like, God, this what we doing, cuz? Like, it's me. Like, I know I ain't did everything I'm supposed to do, but like, I prayed and you were supposed to heal her. Like, I know ninjas that they wasn't supposed to live and they here. And you could have gave them the RIP and the RIH. I mean, my mom still got more life. So I went through a big phase of trying to function. And we oftentimes do that, where we try to function in our despair and our depression and our anxiety. And we think that it's going to magically disappear, and it's not. It probably is going to get worse, because while I was dealing with this grief and this depression and this anxiety, I was also watching other people be successful and live their life like it was golden. And they all on the social media smiling, and they with their mama and they happy. And I'm just looking at they stuff like, and I had to learn, okay, Ja, that's not the energy and the spirit that you need to have if you want God to change your circumstance and your situation. So I had to learn to be happy for people who still had their mothers. And I had to admire relationships with fathers. I had to be okay with marrying people and still being happy while I'm going through a divorce. I'm literally marrying people saying, hey, love this man and take this woman and love your spouse, and you guys are going to be amazing together, while I'm going through a divorce. So I had to make up in my mind that this is the type of energy that I'm going to give. And it's the same energy when it comes to things like this vaccine that they want us to have. Oh, you want us to have a vaccine, and you want 5,000 people a day from the city of Detroit to get a vaccine that we don't know where it came from, don't know who did it, don't know what's in it. This is not Tuskegee experiment. You're not getting ready to get any of us. And you know what's shocking to me? If you're tuning in, you're listening to, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Why is it that none of the leaders have said anything about this? City council members, state reps, governors, like, there should be a conversation. Why is it that the city of Detroit got to have 5,000 people? They can't get 5,000 people from Livonia. They can't get 5,000 people from Bloomfield Hills. No shade, but I'm sure that they have enough money to recover in the event that something happens to their loved ones. So you're gonna let the Black folks in the impoverished areas, in the impoverished communities, be people who get this vaccine. Be careful with your children. Be careful with your seniors. You love grandma and them, big mama and them, granddad and them, uncle and them, and auntie and them. If you care about big mama and them, you're going to make sure that your loved ones are safe, because there are people that are in place right now to talk your loved one into getting a vaccine. Your loved one's number has already been placed in a call log so that the vaccine can be delivered to your home, or you can come to wherever they're going to be at to distribute that. Our Caucasian mayor does not care about the African-American people that he governs in the city. Because if he did, he wouldn't allow our city and our county clerks to hang dry for this election, to quote unquote deem Detroit to be doing fraudulent elections because his buddy did not win. And I'm going to tell you something very clearly. That is his friend. That is his buddy. Don't get the game twisted. Okay. White people are conniving. Not all of them, but they are strategic. Not all of them, because there are some hillbillies and some white folks that they consider to be white trash that are not a part of their ethnicity. No way. It's wealthy people, and then it's the rest of us. Okay. But one thing that I know for certain, two things I know for sure, is that COVID-19 is a man-made virus. This is not nothing that God had his hand in. If he heals your body, that's where God comes into play, where you are not given what you deserve, and he allows you to live and come through it. Now, everybody may not be fortunate enough to come out of this because of how you have been taking care of your body up until this point matters. See, and a lot of us don't communicate when something does not feel right in our body. When I was stressed out and I had my anxiety attack, I told my siblings before it happened, y'all, I'm stressed out. I'm getting these chronic headaches. My arm feeling numb. I'm feeling this pulsating thing in my arm. Something's going on with me. See, some of us, we don't want to say something's going on with us because we don't want to be alerting people. No, you need to tell people. When I went on my live, I didn't know why God wanted me to be on social media. Y'all know I'm not ever like that. So when it happened, it was like, no, people need to see that this is real and people need to see that this is happening. And so with that being said, is if you know that you are feeling uncomfortable in your physical being, you're having aches and pains somewhere, go get that stuff checked out, because you don't want to look up and people trying to figure out why you didn't kick the can and we didn't know, oh, this person was dealing with cancer, or this person had heart disease, or this person had, seizures and we didn't even know it. And now this person is out of here and we trying to figure out, oh, I didn't even know they were sick. Don't leave people in the blind like that. Because if you know something's going on with you, you need to be telling folks so that they can be prepared. I tell my son all the time, this is my life insurance company. This is my doctor. In the case of emergency, this is who's going to be in charge of what I need them to be in charge of. When you think like that, you start maturing and having growth, because now you see what the things that are important. And one thing's for sure, two things for certain is 2020 has definitely taught us what is really important. Listen, it's your girl, Jaja. You're listening to Yeah, I Said It. Before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. And I know you heard me the first time. Listen, follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. You know Jaja because you do. Don't act like you don't. Y'all already know, before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. What I'm going to do, add more to it. Listen, pre-order my book, Dear Carlin, on my website, jajachubbard.com, and you can pick up that book. I'm super excited on all the great things that God is he's just, when he says, I'll bless you beyond, all you could think, won't imagine, press down, shaking together, running over, all of that good stuff is happening, y'all. And I'm super grateful because it's only the beginning. And I'm telling you, when you see me with these successes and these wins, just know I had a lot of losses in order to get to these wins. Listen, before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. If you want to get some of my Yeah, I Said It apparel for my podcast, you can also get that at my website, jajachubbard.com. And if you want to be on the podcast, listen, slide in my DM, send me your picture, your profile, and all that good stuff. If you want to be on the show, Uncommon Conversations, that's a whole nother story, because the ball is rolling on that. And if you want to be a part of that, make sure your ball is rolling as well. Listen, before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. And you must know that you are not alone. There is somebody that did not survive what you went through. And there is somebody that is counting on you to survive what you're going through. All of the things that I've been through in life, I know that they are not just for me. They are not just for me to say, look at my wounds and look at my scars and look at the things that I have healed from. They are also to help somebody else in their healing and also in their transition in life. Listen, it's your girl, Jaja. You're listening to Yeah, I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Peace.